بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Alhamdulillah, welcome back to another lesson of the Durusul Lughat al-Arabiyyah. We are in lesson 6 at the moment and we are concentrating on the word هذه. Okay? And we know that هذه is used to point at things which are feminine. And the signs of a word being feminine is ta'un marbutatun, which we can see here in words like mikwatun. So we're using the word hadihi. Sayyaratun, we're using the word hadihi as well. Okay. Muhandisatun, we use the pronoun here. So let's carry on, inshallah. There's a bit of explanation which I covered last week in regards to Aidon. So we're going to move on now. So sayyaratu man hadihi. Okay. What do you think the translation of sayyaratu man hadihi is? Okay, once you can work that out, I'll set up the tarkib. سيارة من هذه? Whose car is this? It's fine. It's good. Okay. So let's get the tarkib down. What is سيارة in tarkib? سيارة من هذه? Whose car is this? What's سيارة in terms of tarkib? سيارة من. Try to break it up into خبر مقدم. Okay. No. Okay. It's not خبر مقدم. It's مبتدا. Very good. Okay. But at the same time, what else is it? Because it's compounded. It's like grouped. So for example, if I say Sayyara to Zaydin, Zayd's car. So that's why we're not saying Sayyaratun. We're saying Sayyaratu. There's a reason why we're saying Sayyaratu, not Sayyaratun. Okay, why is there no tanween? Mudaf, yes, that's what we're looking for. Okay, good. So Sayyaratu is mudaf. That will leave the word man equals mudaf ilay. Mudaf ilay. And then the phrase together, سيارة من, that will equal to be مبتدأ. Okay? And then that leaves us with the word هذه at the end, which will become the khabar. Okay? So سيارة مضاف, من مضاف إليه. And why we're reading in marfu with a dhamma, that's already been answered. Alhamdulillah, because you said mubtada'un, which was good. Okay. And the khabar, hadihi, is going to have no dhamma because it's from those words which are mabni. It will remain hadihi. Okay. And then when we make the whole sentence, we will say it's jumlatun because it's sentence. We will say ismiyatun because it started with a noun, sayyaratu. And we will say insha'iyatun because it's an inquisitive sentence. You're inquiring, you're asking a question. Okay. Next one. هذه سيارة أورتي. And why? So we've done سيارة من, سيارة. There's no tanween on that. Man. Okay. سيارة. Okay, why are we reading سيارة? Khabar, very good. Okay. And at the same time, it's, what else is it? سيارة المدير. We'll put a kasra on there. مضاف, very good. Okay. So هذه سيارة المدير. This means this is the car of the head teacher or the head teacher's car. Okay. And هذه, the tarkib would be مبتدأ. سيارة will be مضاف. There's no tanween because it's مضاف. المدير will be مضاف إليه. And then the مضاف إليه سيارة المدير will form to be the khabar. Okay, so we don't need to go into full tarkib on these ones because they're pretty straightforward. We've done these before. Let's move on to the next one. Ma hadhihi. Ma hadhihi. Okay, what is this? Okay, so notice here we're using feminine. Okay, what's ma in tarkib? Just to jog your memory back. Ma in tarkib. We'll just walk through this and then inshallah we can. Ism istifham, but at the same time it's what? It's a noun at the beginning of a sentence. مبتدأ and هذه the خبر. هذه مكواة. هذه مكواة. Okay, so what does هذه مكواة mean? This is a noun. Very good. Okay. Tarkib is pretty straightforward on this. هذه is مبتدأ and مكواة would be the خبر. Okay. And then it'll become جملة اسمية خبرية. And the previous one ما هذه will be جملة اسمية إنشائية. Okay. Now we've got the word مكواة. Normally a word that ends with um ata like طبيبة, to make it plural say طبيبات, you just had an alif and a flat ta. But mikwatun has already got an alif before it. So what's the plural of mikwatun? We can't say mikwawatun. We can't bring it twice. So what is the plural of mikwatun? Anybody? I'd say irons. Mikwatun. Okay, let's just try to annotate this, inshallah. So we have the word. Let's just do in green. Green's a nice color to look at. Mikwatun. Okay. The plural. Anybody? Okay. Mikwatun, the plural is makwan. And you can also say, okay, makawin. Anyone know the root letters to these? Makawin. If you were to search for this word in the dictionary, how would you search for this word in the dictionary? Mikwatun. Anybody? What are the root letters of mikwatun if you were to search for this in the dictionary? Kawa. Very good. Okay. Because it's on the pattern of miftahun mif'alun. It's actually from the verb kawa yakwi, which means to iron. So if I say akwil malabisa, I'm ironing the clothes, like rama yarmi, kawa yakwi, hada yahdi. Okay, good. Any questions on this page? And notice here we used hadhi, not hada, because mikwatun is feminine. Any questions on this page before we move on? No? Okay, great. Okay, so let's move on to the next page, inshallah. Okay, let's just get rid of the annotation there. Okay. Next part. Liman هذه. What's the translation of this? Liman هذه. Liman هذه. So let's just put a bit of the English translation here. So we have the phrase Liman هذه. Who is this for? I knew that was coming up. Anybody else want to give another attempt? You're right, but remember, you have to start now looking at Arabic sentences and translating into your target language, which is English, in the best manner possible. Okay? What we don't want to do is become too literal in our translation that we make a hash out of the translation in our target language, which is English. Okay? Who is this for? Whose is this? That sounds better. Okay? That sounds better. Okay? Whose? I think I've got caps lock on. Whose is this? Meaning, who does this belong to? Whose is this? Okay, not who is this for. For doesn't won't really set nicely here in translation. Okay, so we've got the translation done. Okay, now in liman, what's the li? Let's do the tarkib of this one. What's li? There's two words in liman. Okay, so what's the tarkib? What's the li in liman? So we have the word li. Li equals harf jar or jar with the tashdid. Whenever you say jar, is jarra yajurru jarun ismul fa'il, the one that drags the haraka. Okay, jar that leaves us with man to become. Man is going to become majroor. Majroor. Now, what does the jar majroor become? Liman. Obviously, prepositional phrase, we have to always connect them. Yes or no? So it's muta'alliqan bi. What's it muta'alliq to? There's no verb mentioned before. There's no words that represent a verb or no words containing the letters of a verb. So what can we connect liman to? Whose is this? Liman hadihi. The prepositional phrase liman, what is that connected to? Hadihi, no. Because hadihi will eventually become mubtada muakhar. Because you can't have jar majrur becoming mubtada, because when you start the tarkib, lam is harfu jar, it's a harf, not a noun. Therefore, you can't say liman is mubtada. هذه will take the role of mubtada. It's been delayed, so it'll be muakhar. That will leave us with the prepositional phrase becoming khabar muqaddam. But before we make it khabar muqaddam, the prepositional phrase liman has to be connected to something. What is it? If you don't see anything in the text you can connect it to, a hidden verb, you don't need to necessarily go into a verb. You can, but what's those words that we normally say jar majrur is connected to when you can't connect it to a verb in a sentence? What are those words? Okay, there's a few common ones. Okay, we would say it's connected to thabitun, sorry, thabitatun, because هذه is feminine. So we can't say thabitun, thabitatun. I'll put a few here so it'll kind of give you an idea. Ka'inatun, they also say it can be ka'inatun or ka'inun if it's masculine. You can sometimes they say mawjudun, which is very rare. Okay, and another one is connected to the sorry, it'll be feminine, so mawjudatun. Okay, we'll leave it to that. Okay, another one is mustaqarratun or mustaqirratun. Okay, I mean it is mustaqirratun. Okay, but these the common ones in the Arab kitabs, they will just say ka'inun or ka'inatun, thabitun, thabitatun, if it's depending on masculine or feminine. So that eventually will equal to be khabar muqaddam. Khabar muqaddam. And that leaves us with the word هذه, هذه, which equals مبتدأ مؤخر. Okay, مبتدأ مؤخر. Okay, everyone okay with that tarkib, or is there anything you don't understand? And why did we not make liman as mubtada? Any questions? Okay, understood? Everybody understand the tarkib of that one? Lam is harf jar or jar. Man was the majroor. and that becomes the prepositional phrase, jar majrur, and it becomes connected to that which is hidden, which is ka'inatun. Why do we say ka'inatun? Because we're pointing at something feminine. That's why, and how do we know that? Because we use the word هذه. And that forms to become khabar muqaddam. We can't say mubtada because prepositional phrases can't be mubtada. And even if there is a noun which is zarf, it refers to place or time, that will not also take the place of mubtada as well. Okay? Like in the Quran, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم. Today I have perfected for you your religion. There you can't say اليوم is mubtada, it's actually zarf, zaman. And the verb next to it, أكملت, that will be fair and fine. So the sentence won't be a jumla ismiya, it'll be a jumla fa'liya. But the zarf has come at the beginning. Okay? Let's move on to our next sentence. هذه لخالد. What's the translation of هذه لخالد? هذه لخالد. هذه لخالد. This is Khalid's. Good. Um, Khalid's probably with apostrophe S. Oops. I've got the Arabic dictionary on. Sorry, keyboard. This is Khalid's. Okay. I was expecting you like to say this is for Khalid, but Alhamdulillah, you've probably picked up now how to best translate it, which is good. Okay. This is Khalid's. Now here, what's the tarkib of هذه لخالد? What's هذه in tarkib? مبتدأ. Good. Okay. هذه equals مبتدأ. Okay, and that leaves us with li Khalid. I'm just going to put li Khalid as the prepositional phrase as a whole. Okay, so li Khalid. Slowly, slowly, we want to ease off the simple tarkib. So li Khalid is jar wa majroor. And what's it connected to? What's this jar majroor connected to? Jarun wa majroor muta'alliqan bi. What's it connected to? هذه لخالد. This is Khalid's. Because the lam shows belonging, so the word Khalid's is manifests as that translation. Okay. So what's the jar majrur here connected to? هذه لخالد. This is Khalid's. Anyone? It can't be connected to هذه because if you connect li Khalid to هذه, then you won't end up with a khabar. Because then you're saying هذه is mubtada, li Khalid jar majrur is connected to هذه, then هذه with its prepositional phrase which is connected to it. If that's the mubtada, where's the khabar? You'll end up with no khabar. Okay? So كائنة, I'm thinking you're writing, okay? I'll give you that. It's كائنة or ثابتة, but we'll just say كائنة. كائنة متعلقان بكائنة. And that equals to be the what? خبر. Yeah. So هذه is مبتدأ اسم الإشارة, noun at the beginning of a sentence, لخالد, jar majrur, متعلقان بكائنة. Why كائنة? Because we're pointing at something which is feminine. Whose is this? This is Khalid's. Okay. And that forms to become the khabar. So in other words, the sentence with the assumed version is هذه كائنة لخالد. And notice we didn't say al-kainatu because khabar is generally nakara. So that's why we're saying kainatun, not al-kainatu. Okay. Why did we, is that understood before I move on to the next question? Is that understood? Tarkib of this sentence, is that fine? Yeah? Alhamdulillah. Okay. Why did we say liman is khabar muqaddam and in li Khalid we didn't say, we didn't advance the khabar? So the question is, why did we advance the khabar in the first sentence, liman hadihi, and we did not advance the khabar in hadihi li Khalid? Why? So the question is, why in the first sentence, liman hadihi, Khalid is ma'rifah? No. Why did we, first sentence was to make it a question, yes. Remember, when you ask questions, if it's with a preposition, it will take precedence, okay? It will come first, okay? So even though the normal sentence structure would be hadihi liman, this is for whom, or this is whose, okay? But when you ask questions, the articles or instruments you use for questioning, they will take precedence. So that's why we bought the jar majroor prepositional phrase first. Is understood? Is that clear? Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's move on to our next sentence. Our next sentence we have is Adarrajatu Anasin Hadihi. So what's the translation of Adarrajatu Anasin Hadihi? Is this Anas's bike? Okay. I'm going to ask a question to you, and that is, if you was to base what you said, is this Anas's bike? Wouldn't the sentence be أهذه دراجة أنس? Is this أهذه دراجة أنس, Anas's bike? But if I say, for example, if I say أهذا كتابك, is this your book? But this is not أهذا كتابك. That structure is أكتابك هذا الدراجة أنس هذه. Okay. This is a question that came up in my mind. Okay. But we'll go with what you are saying. Okay. But it's a question that came up in my mind. Emphasis on this. Okay. Based on sentence structure, it seems like obviously the response seems like it's what you're saying. Is this Anas's bike? No, this is Ammar's bike. Yeah. It's new. So it makes sense what you lot are saying. Okay. But the sentence structure for that kind of question, okay, would normally be أهذه دراجة أنس. Is this Anas's bike? But they've reversed it and said, okay, دراجة أنس first and then هذه second. Okay, maybe to stress at what they're pointing at. Okay, because the other way to look at it is probably, is Anas's bike this one? Is Anas's bike this one? But then the response would be no, it's that one. Okay, but we don't see the response like that. Okay, so my mind was going in so many places, like it always does when it comes to um, sentences. The Y factor comes in, okay, and my brain starts to, suffer. teasing my brain. Why is it like this? Why is it not like that? Okay. So that's something food for thought. I just thought I'll share with you, but we'll go with what you're saying. Is this Anas's bike? Okay, so we'll go with that. But do you understand where I'm coming from, or you don't, or you're just thinking I'm just kind of talking and it's not making sense? My question is basically the way the sentence structure is laid out, the the Raja to Anas has come first, so is Anas's bike this one? But the response don't go agree with what I'm saying, so we'll go with what you're saying. Is this Anas's Anas's oops bike? Okay, let's put the question mark. Forgot. Yeah, is this Anas? Is this Anas's bike? Okay, it's fine. We'll go with that. Um, what is the tarkib of this? What is the tarkib? Okay, so what is Hamza? What is Hamza? Ism istifham. I was waiting for that one. That's why it's probably good practice. I kind of do repeat some tarkibs because it can kind of slip out your mind. If we take Hamza to be Ism istifham, like you're saying, then that'll be mubtada. Where's the khabar? Where would the khabar be then? Where would the khabar be? So is it Ism istifham? We're not using ma, by the way. We're not saying ma hada. It's harfa istifham. Okay? A is harfu istifham. Okay? And does harf determine a sentence to be either deemed jumlatun ismiyatun or jumlatun fi'liyatun? Does harf play a role in that? Because you don't have jumlatun harfiyatun. No? Okay. So the next thing is we got to look at what's the word that's come after the harf istifham. So Hamza, we will just label it according to grammar. It's harfu istifham. So the next part we're left with is darajatu. What's darajatu in Turkey? Darajatu in Turkey. Darajatu. Muzaf. Good. That leaves Anas to become. Anas is going to become Muzaf ilayh. Okay. And that will group together. So let's just put it as a phrase. So it makes it more clear what we're referring to. Darajatu Anas is now going to become what? So we've compounded it. We've made it into a phrase, okay, which is mudaf mudaf ilayh. What is that mudaf mudaf ilayh going to become? Which component of a sentence is going to become? Meaning, what role does mubtada? Very good. Okay, and that leaves us with the word hadhihi, which is going to become what? The khabar. Okay, and then the whole sentence will become jumlatun ismiyatun. Is it insha'iyatun or khabariyatun? Which one? Which one do you think? Insha'iyatun, great. Okay. So we have the response la. Okay. No. So that's the response done. that's signified by the comma, and then we're saying هذه دراجة عمار. This is Ammar's bicycle. Okay. The tarkib there is pretty straightforward, so we don't need to go into that. The la is harful ijab. It's a particle which is used to respond in the negative sense. And هذه will be مبتدأ. دراجة will be مضاف. عمار will be مضاف إليه. And then دراجة عمار مضاف مضاف إليه. That'll form to be the خبر of هذه. Okay. هذه جديدة. Okay. This is new. Not it is new, sorry. I think before I said it is new. That'll be هي جديدة. We're pointing at it. Okay. هذه جديدة. This is new. What's the tarkib of? So let's just get the translation down. So we have this. Okay, let's leave that translation. We'll just go straight into the tarkib because it's pretty straightforward, the translation. Since I've got it on the Arabic keyboard, we'll just do the tarkib. What's هذه in tarkib here? هذه جديدة. This is new. مبتدأ. Good. That leaves us with جديدة, which is going to become what? What's جديدة going to become? خبر. Good. Okay. And then from there we can just form the sentence, which is مبتدا plus خبر will equal جملة اسمية خبرية. Okay. So no, this is Ammar's bicycle. This is new. ودراجة تؤتي. How are we going to read this? دراجة why? مبتدا أنا سن. Sin why? مضاف إليه. Good. قديمة, why we're reading that مرفوع with the ضمة? Why we're reading قديمة مرفوع with a ضمة? خبر. Very good. Okay. And that tarkib is pretty straightforward. Okay. No, this is Ammar's bicycle. This is new. And Anas's bicycle is old. Okay. What would be harfu atf? And you could say this is doing atf on this sentence here. هذه دراجة عمار. هذه جديدة. Okay. As a whole. Or you could say it's استئنافية, that you're starting a new sentence and you've responded to that one and it's a new sentence. You could say, you're saying Anas's bike is old. Okay, so whichever way you want to look at it, it's up to you. We could say, well, حرف عطف or عاطفة. دراجة مضاف أنس المضاف إليه مضاف إليه will become مبتدأ قديمة is the خبر. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Next one. هذه ساعة علي. What's the translation of هذه ساعة علي? هذه ساعة علي. هذه this is Ali's watch. Okay, this is Ali's watch. Tarkib on that is pretty straightforward as well. Okay. Are there any questions with the tarkib of هذه ساعة علي? No. Okay. So هذه is مبتدأ ساعة علي مضاف إليه will become the خبر. هي جميلة جدا. What does that mean? هي جميلة جدا. It's very beautiful. Okay, good. Okay, it's very beautiful. Okay, now tarkib of this one, we will just touch upon the tarkib of this one, inshallah. So the first part is pretty straightforward. What's here in tarkib? Let's just put the Arabic dictionary on because there's a word we've come across here which is jiddan. What's here in tarkib? Here, mubtada. Good. MashaAllah, you're awake. I thought for a second you probably were dozing off. Okay, so here is mubtada'un. Jamilatun. What's jamilatun? We have the word jamilatun. Khabar. Okay, it becomes khabar. Now we have this word which is jiddan. Okay, jiddan. What's jiddan in Turkey? What's jiddan in Turkey? Not, no. مفعول مطلق ما شاء الله. Nice answer. Now, those who are doing the Arab course will know what مفعول مطلق is, but I will repeat it here. Okay. مفعول مطلق is when you bring the master root word for either emphasis or mentioning an amount or describing the manner of how the verb took place. So jalastu julusan, I sat, but you want to emphasize, so I sat quite a bit. Or jalastu jalsatan, I sat once. Or jalastu jilsatal qari'i, I sat like sitting like a qari. Whatever the case, maf'ul mutlaq can come for three reasons. One of the reason is ta'keed, emphasis. And how do you bring maf'ul, emphasize? How do you bring the emphasize form? Simply, you just bring the masdar, which is in the same meaning as the verb mentioned before. So the example I gave you was jalastu julusan, nasartu nasran, akaltu aklan. So that's what maf'ul mutlaq is. It's a masdar which is in the same meaning as the verb mentioned before. Notice we say same meaning because sometimes in wording it can differ as long as the meaning is the same. So, for example, somebody says قعدت جلوسا or أنبته الله نباتا instead of saying إنباتا. So the wording can slightly change. So that it can be from a different bab. For example, أنبته الله نباتا. Okay. Um, أحب الأستاذ حبا. Okay. أحب from أحب يحب إحباب. But the maf'ul mutlaq is not إحبابا. إفعال is حبا. So that can happen. The maf'ul mutlaq can differ from the verb before it in terms of bab, and also it can differ in terms of the wording as well, like qa'adtu julusan. But generally, you will see it matches the word before it in the wording as well, and of course in the meaning. Now we got this word jiddan, which we translate as a lot, very, or much. So in this case, we will say, Hiya jamilatun jiddan. It is very beautiful. So we get the word very from the word jiddan because in the absence of jiddan, we would just simply translate and by saying it is beautiful. Hiya jamilatun. But we're adding emphasis and we're saying hiya jamilatun jiddan. It's not just beautiful, it's very beautiful. So it gives emphasis. But in terms of i'rab, in terms of how it's governed, it's important we know how it's governed while we're reading it as mansub. Because the grammarians, they always like to give a reason for a word to be experiencing a certain state. Okay? So now we got jiddan, it's maf'ul mutlaq, but there's no verb mentioned before it. So here, jamilatun, okay, jiddan. There's no verb. Jamilatun, it means beautiful, but it's not a verb. Okay. So there's no fail mentioned before it. That's one thing. So we will have to say that the fail is what? Assume. So مفعول مطلق لفعل محذوف. And what is that fail which is mahzuf? That would be يجد. يجد do. I don't think so. The dot is coming on the gene for some. Oh, there, I got it. Okay, I was pressing the ha. Okay. Now, يجد is the fail. We will assume that the word jiddan is in the same meaning as. Okay. Now, jadda yajidu means to be significant. Okay. So literally we're saying it is beautiful. Okay. And it's significant. So we would probably say tajiddu because we're referring to the what, isn't it? So tajiddu jiddan. Okay. So it is beautiful, which is of importance, great importance or significance. We don't translate like that, okay? But what I'm just trying to demonstrate to you is why jiddan is mansub because maf'ul mutlaqun is a masdar in the meaning of the verb mentioned before, but here we will assume that the verb mentioned before is tajiddu, which means to be of significance, to be important, significant, to be of weight, okay, etc. So that is just a little bit of background in regards to the word jiddan. Okay, so that's why we read it mansub. Okay, and normally shortcut, we normally the shortcut would be jiddan. Okay, jiddan. This is how I like to just describe it. It's mastarun. It's a mastar because maful mutlaq is mastar. Mastarun um, mansubun. It's mansub لفعل محذوف, but I don't need to mention the fail. Okay. مؤكد meaning it reinforces. مؤكد um, مصدر منصوب لفعل محذوف Um, and let's just put this لتأكيد. It is for لتأكيد مضمون مضمون, which means the subject or discussion or topic of the sentence. So it's a masdar, it's mansub. Okay, masdar mansubun. Why is it mansub? Because of فعل mahzuf. And what's its usage? لتأكيد مضمون الجملة, comes to reinforce the purport and subject of the sentence, the topic of the sentence. Okay, لتأكيد مضمون الجملة. Okay, let's just put it there. Is that understood in regards to the word jiddan? We can't always suit the translation with the tarkib. Translation does not need to always suit the tarkib, because if we were to always try to attempt that, we'll make a hash out of our translation. Okay, so that's why very is sufficient. It is very beautiful. Okay, we don't need to go into the meaning of tajiddu, etc. All this. Okay, so the translation we keep it best matching and suitable in our target language, which is English. We keep it to that. But tarkib, okay, and the i'rab, we will mention it, but does not necessarily mean it has to, the translation has to justify the tarkib. Is that understood? Is that understood? Yeah, alhamdulillah. Okay. Next one we have is هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر. What does this mean? هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر. جي هذه ملعقة. This is a spoon and this is a pot. Very good. That's fine. Okay. So let's just get the translation down on that. So this this is a spoon and that is a pot. Okay. That's fine. That's good. Let's put the translation there in line. Okay. Now the question here is, we can understand mil'aqatun being feminine because it's got ta'un marbutatun. Yeah. But how about the word qidrun? There's no ta there. There is no ta. So why are we saying هذه قدر? Any question? Any reason? And it's not real body parts, by the way, as well. G? Any idea? Anyone? Reason? Okay, the question is هذه ملعقة. We can understand why we were saying ملعقة, why we were using هذه as feminine, because ملعقة has got تاء مربوطة. Okay? But in وهذه قدر, the قدر has no تاء تانيث. G? Do you understand the question? Yes. Okay. Any reason? Is qidr a feminine word? Yes, that's right. Okay. Qidr is a feminine word. Okay. Can you remember when we started the sentence? What did we say? We said that certain words are feminine by signs, and there were three signs that we covered, which was ta'un marbutatun, alif mamdudatun, and alif maqsuratun. Now, any word that does not have any of these signs but is still feminine will be known as mu'annath ma'nawiyun. And if it is feminine by sign, then it's mu'annathun lafziyun. But that's not where we only stopped at. Remember, we said that some words, despite them not having any sign of femininity, i.e., ta'un marbutatun, alif mamdudatun, alif maqsuratun, and not even in terms of it's a name of a female, etc., we'll just say that certain words are used as feminine. Okay, so we had words like darun. Okay, the word dar, which means house or abode, this word can be treated as masculine or feminine. Okay, so the word qidrun, this is a word that is mu'annas wa majazi. We will just use it in a what feminine way. Okay, so that's why we're saying wahadihi qidrun. And then al-mil'aqatu fil qidri. Qidrun plural is qudurun, pots. Okay. What's the tarkib of هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر? Let's just quickly put this one down. So what's هذه in tarkib? هذه is مبتدأ and ملعقة is equals khabar. Now what does the mubtada khabar become? What does the mubtada and khabar become? هذه ملعقة. Before you say jumla, where is it? What does هذه ملعقة become? هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر. So remember, the wow is being used here. معطوف عليه. That's what I was looking for. معطوف عليه. And we'll carry on with the tarkib. Wow would be عاطفة. Wow equals عاطفة or حرف عطف. Okay? And then that will leave us with هذه again, which is مبتدأ, similar to before. And قدر will be khabar. And then the phrase, or sorry, the sentence هذه قدر, this will equal to become what? What does هذه قدر become? هذه قدر, what does that become? هذه قدر معطوف. Okay, becomes معطوف. And then the whole sentence هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر, what does that become? So let's just هذه let's just say, let's just make it dash. هذه, okay, all that is going to become what? اسمية خبرية. So جملة is a sentence It's ismiyatun because it started with a noun. It's khabariyatun because it's informative. And it's ma'tufiyatun. Ma'tufiyatun because it consists of conjunction, conjoining. Okay, atf. Okay, so that's the tarkib of هذه ملعقة وهذه قدر. Okay, next one, what's the translation of al-mil'aqa? Is it ta, tu, or ti? Is it ta, tu, or ti? Tu. Why is it tu? Mubtada'un. So what's the translation of al-mil'aqatu fil qidri? Remember the words qidr. Okay, so don't read it any other way. Don't read the word qadr. It's easily said because people refer to verses in the Quran. Sometimes they relate to verses in the Quran. Always look at words the way they are used in the sentence and the context. The spoon is in the pot. Very good, mashallah. Okay, the spoon is in the pot. Okay, don't stir the pot yet. We've still got a bit more left of the lesson left. Okay, what's al mil'aqatu in tarkib? Let's quickly just dictate this one. Okay, so I don't need to annotate, inshallah. Al mil'aqatu in tarkib, mubtada'un fil qadri, prepositional phrase, jar majrur becomes muta'alliq to what? MashaAllah, you can become an advanced. You said khabar straight away. You don't want to make it muta'alliq. You don't want to connect it. MashaAllah. Okay, what would it be connected to? What would fil qadri be connected to? Hmm? You don't want to connect fil qadri and you want to connect yourself to the internet, huh? Ka'inatun, mashallah, very good. Okay. So in other words, we're saying al-mil'aqatu ka'inatun fil qidri. The spoon is in the pot. We will have to assume it that it's connected to something that's assumed, which is ka'inatun. Okay. And the reason we're saying ka'inatun, not al-ka'inatu, because khabar is nakara. Next sentence we have is هذه بقرة الفلاح. What does that mean? هذه بقرة الفلاح. هذه بقرة الفلاح. And is it فلاحة, who or he? So two things. One is translation. This is the farmer's cow. And فلاحي. Good. Okay. Because it is مضاف إليه. Tarkib of this one's pretty straightforward as well. هذه will be مبتدأ. بقرة الفلاح مضاف مضاف إليه will become the khabar. Next we have is هذا أنف. What does that mean? هذا أنف. هذا أنف. This is a nose. MashaAllah, very good. This is a nose. And وهذا فم. وهذا فم. وهذا فم. And this is a mouth. Okay. Is there any question in regards to the tarkib of the last one? Okay, I'll quickly say before we log off. Okay, anfun. What's the plural of anfun? Before we do the tarkib, anfun. What's the plural? The plural is anafun and unufun, and famun is afwahun. Good. Okay. Tarkib of this last one. This is a nose and this is a mouth. Hada will be mubtada'un. Anfun will be the khabar. And the mubtada khabar will become ma'tuf alay, like this sentence, هذه ملعقة. Waw is عاطفة. هذا will be mubtada'un. Famun will be the khabar. And then the mubtada khabar will group together, will become ma'tuf, similar to هذه قدر, we mentioned here. And then together, ma'tuf alay, which was هذا أنف, and the ma'tuf هذا famun will become jumlatun, sentence, ismiyatun, started with a noun, khabriyatun, it's informative, and ma'tufiyatun because it consists of ma'tuf, ma'tuf alayh. Hope you've enjoyed today's lesson, and inshallah we'll continue from here next lesson. If there are any questions, you can ask inshallah in the Telegram support group anytime, and inshallah I will get back to you. For now, assalamu alaikum ورحمة الله وبركاته.